Hello, good day to you all. So, basically, this is some kind of explanation or brief description related to the DevOps research paper. So, we can go through the research I have done and we can get an idea what is the research is all about, right? So I'm SDU Manujapriya, who is following the master's program in SLICT. So the research topic, the title of the research is CI/CD adoption of software engineers, continuous integration and continuous delivery, right? So when it come to the abstraction and the introduction part of the research, actually when we analyze the current status of software engineering field with the DevOps, right, we have seen some research gaps there, right? That means basically the knowledge of the software engineers, especially with the DevOps, there's a certain gap, okay, as well as there's a research gap as well because there are less number of papers related to the CI/CD adoption of software engineers has released, okay. So I thought it's better to come up with some kind of research paper related to that one, right? So before moving to that, all of these research paper ideas, I think it's good to know about what is the CI/CD and what's DevOps, some kind of thing, right? So actually DevOps is it's a culture, right? It's a culture in a software field or IT field. It's a culture, right? So then what is CI/CD is actually it's some kind of essence for this culture. That means actually it's a best practices. Okay, it's some kind of best practice in DevOps. So when you go through the CI/CD, you can easily find that it will make easy for the software engineers, that means the software development team, as well as the ops team, operational team, right? So that's the combination which come as a continuous in the CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery, right? So when that's the introduction of that entire thing, right? So based on that one, that research gap it has, I thought yes, it's better to do a research on CI/CD adoption of software engineers, because the ultimate goal was at the end of the day, if there is a huge gap between the software engineers and the CI/CD adoption, or there are many challenges for them, that would be good for the organization level, because at the end of the day, the efficiency will go down, right? So that's the basic idea. So based on that one, I started the research over there, right? So the method was actually this kind of thing. In the research, basically what I did was I went through some kind of past literature reviews, right? So it got the idea that there are some researchers related to that one, but most of the researchers are based on entire software development team or the organization, right? But very less, zero number of research articles related to especially for the software engineer, okay. So as well as I saw some kind of a distributed of the facts they have considered, but I want to so much concentrate on software engineers, and I have selected new set of keys or the facts to research there, right? So in my research I have selected 3. main factors which are affect major skills for the software engineers to the adoption for the CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous delivery. So first I got three, right? First fact is resistance to change, and the next one is skill gap, and the last one is the lack of interest, right? So then what I did was I hypothetically create some kind of a formulation over there. So in the hypothetically formulation, what I did was first I select with the selected keys or the facts, I created formulations, right? Hypothetical formulations. That is HP1, first one. So that means actually when there is a resistance, high resistance of change, that means that there is an inertia, right? So inertia means they don't like to keep out of the momentum, right? So that is we call as basically the inertia, right? So when there is a resistance to change, that is a negative feedback for the CI/CD adoption of Sri Lankan software engineers, right? That's the first hypothetical one. Then the second one is actually skill gap, right? So if there is a skill gap between the expected level of continuous integration and continuous delivery, CI/CD, and what actually the software engineers in Sri Lanka have, if there is that kind of research, I mean knowledge gap, that is not, that also give a negative feedback. That's the second part. And when it comes to the third part, that we call as HP, I mentioned that one as HP3, that is lack of interest, right? So if someone has a lack of interest for align with some kind of a technology, okay, that also badly affect to the, or the negatively work for the CI/CD adoption, right? So these are the three main hypothesis formulation I have done, right? Then the research instrument. Now what when it comes to there, I always thought because of their tough work, tough schedule in their organizations, I have planned there, it's better to have some kind of a online form of having their feedbacks related to this research. So what I did was actually I had a Google form I have created with several questions. Most of them are yes, no, and some kind of multiple select and select check boxes like that. Then what I did was I shared that link with among the set of selected software engineers of different organizations, different levels, right? That means in the organization hierarchy, their level is different, right? So what I wanted to know is across what is happening across the each hierarchy of the software engineering, right? So that's the basic idea. So all the questionnaire was related to the main three facts, that is resistance to change, skill gap, and lack of interest. Now within 2 weeks period, I gave the time for send the replies as well as 5 minutes completion time. It's a 5-minute read time for that form, right? So when I go to the results, now I have to analyze those results. So basically I come up with the demographic analysis as well as a professional level based analysis, right? Now this is the graph I have come up with demographic analysis. Okay, so clearly we can see that it has a, when we analyze that one, there's a huge inertia of the software engineers, within the software engineers, to adopt with the CI/CD pipeline. That means you can see over 43% responses, they have mentioned there's a resistance to change, right? That means they are using some kind of practice, some kind of old or traditional practices, but they don't like to keep the momentum out of that way path, right? So that's the inertia, right? So in the demographic analysis, it's very clear that most of them have resistance to change, right? That's not good, right? Because when you are aligned with some kind of a IT related things, you have to align with the technological things, right? Not every time, but for certain time intervals, we have to align with that. And the next one is skill gap, right? So when it comes to skill gap, yes, it also have certain percentage, right? About 30. That means most of the software engineers, they basically consider about the coding patterns, designing patterns, coding styles, and the programming languages, those kind of stuff. But they don't think much about the skill of that continued integration, that kind of thing. That DevOps, they not much. So there's a skill gap also, right? So which is not good, right? Because when you are aligned with this kind of technology, yes, you have to have a good sound knowledge on the same, right? So actually, we can easily resolve that issue with having some kind of knowledge sharing sessions, forums, okay, summits, and so that kind of things. We can easily solve out this problem, right? So that's all about the skill gap, right? As well as some of them are lack of interest of it. But this is an interesting point. But we can clearly see that the lack of interest is very less number of percentage. That means they are actually like to use the CI/CD within DevOps, right? That means that's a good insight, right? Even they have some skill knowledge or resistance to change or something like that, but they have interest on that one, right? That means that gives us a very good insight. Using that potential, right? We can make the advantage to make the happen the CI/CD pipelines or the CI/CD continued integration and continued delivery in the software industry, right? So that's a good idea over there, right? So that's the demographic analysis I did based on the results. Then moving to the professional level based analysis. Yes, that professional level based analysis, basically I wanted to know what are in which degree each number of facts are going to affect for the software engineers, different levels. So I started with the associate software engineer, senior software engineer, tech lead, and the software architect, right? So at each level, I went through across the responses, and it's very clear few things. Now if you are think about the first thing I described over there, that is resistance to change. You can see clearly here. Yeah, it's in the purple color, so you can see in each level of software engineering, they have resistance change other than the tech lead, right? So it is more deviate from the standard, right? So we can simply omit the results what you have gone for the tech lead for this kind of, because it's at a long deviation from the standard, right? Standard level. So other than that, see, everyone has the issue of resistance to change, even in the software architect level as well, right? So even in the associate software engineer as well, right? So it reveals us that is a huge effect for the entire software industry, because they have some kind of resistance to change, even in the professional across the higher and lower professional level as well, right? Then if you go to the skill gap, right, that also have significant changes across the professional level. And you can see in the software engineers, they started with 20%, and software engineers got with 40%, and tech lead it has with 100%, and again 50%. So that means there is a skill gap of the software engineer professional levels, I mean the hierarchical level, that we need to fill up those things, right? And apart from that, When it comes to lack of interest across the uh, professional level, it's very clear. You can see first two are having more lack of interest, 50 to 40, blue color one bars, right? But after the software engineers see what has happened, there is zero number of percentages or the bar, right? In the bar, there's zero values. For the lack of interest, that means after the software engineering level, they have seen some kind of a potential or some kind of a advantage having this kind of a CI/CD process in their entire product development life cycle, right? So that's a basic idea we can say, right? But below the software engineers, they have not much idea how it is going to be benefit, right? So it's very clear why they are having much interest, and this is an advantage point, right? So to make that change, we can use that fact very clearly, right? Okay, right. Then I did some research over there, and as the conclusion of that one, we can very easily say, we can mention like that, right? So actually, based on these three facts I have analyzed: lack of interest, skill gap, and resistance to change, right? Mainly for the each and every software engineers, this resistance to change has affected in a larger scale, so the larger degrees. Okay, and as well as if they, even though they have some kind of a potential and some kind of interest to adapt with the CI/CD kind of things in the DevOps, but they have resistance to change. That means they are using the traditional and the old method, and they don't like to change the momentum. That's inertia, right? So that's the conclusion we could do in this, basically in this research paper. And after that, I thought about what are the other facts that influences the adoption of CI/CD, right? There are positive and negative facts, right? First one is some people are there who are like to willing to harmonize with the new technology, so they can easily adopt with those things, right? And as well as some of them know the past experiences in CI/CD, then they know the advantages of that one, then they like to adapt more with this one, right? And some of them are like to quickly adopt with the cultural shift, right? So they also, that fact also quickly majorly affect to the CI/CD adoption, right? And as well as influence, right? And it may be organization level influence, sometime team level influence, right? To adopt with the automation, that also makes some kind of a draw towards the CI/CD, right? And sometime there may be a infrastructure change toward the cloud environment. Then at that level also there is some kind of a influence. You can have, yes, we have to go to the CI/CD and as well as DevOps practices, right? That would be another one, right? And some knowledge sharing sessions, right? Those kind of things may be positively come up with the adoption with the software engineers, other than these three factors, right? And there may be negative feedback, negative influences facts as well, right? When it comes to the negative influences facts, you know that the mindset of the that mindset of thinking that it's a wasting of time to align from the brand new stages to the CI/CD, and sometimes they will say that it's a kind of a overload work, right? Other than coding, that means extra work of doing the coding. Sometimes they will think like that as well, right? And then the next one important thing is lack of the organization level vision for adopting the CI/CD. That's a huge case, right? Because if the organization is not willing to change the factors, that cultural shift or the technical shift, that will affect to the entire organization of the software engineers in the software company, right? And that's the negative and positive influences other than these three I have went through. and some future research directions also there, right? So if you need to have more advanced this research, that means how the CI/CD influence adoptions of software engineers. Yes, you can actually I have selected a limited number of people to have a more precise information or the research results. We can scale up the research audience as well, right? So that's a, and you can do the research again, right? Then as well as not limiting to these three what I have selected, right? We can do the research in different facts, right? So that will give more sense to the this research as well, right? And yes, apart from that, there are yes. Apart from that, the hypothetically, I have chosen all the positive feedbacks over there, right? So apart from that, you can see negative feedbacks there. But if you need, you can select the combination of positive and negative. Then it will be more effective for the research as well, right? Then one good thing, so this is some kind of a qualitative one, and if you need to have some kind of a quantitative one, how the budgets are going here and there with the adoption of software engineers, and this is the how we invest for this one, and after introducing this line with the CI/CD pipeline, this is the what we have taken after implementing that DevOps culture in the organization of facts. That kind of a qualitative one, quantitative one also, you can have that kind of research as well. And apart from that, you can have more centralized researches than distributed researches related to that one. Then it will make more sense for the our research, right? So I have used some references over there with IEEE formats. So that's the basic idea of my research paper in the DevOps CI/CD adoption of software engineers. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, and thank you so much. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you.